This just in. It looks like Argentine players might face a massive ban from world football. Yes, you heard that right. The stars who played in the World Cup could find themselves banned from the pitch for a very long time. And I mean a really long time, because severe radical punishments are finally coming down. It all stems from a refusal to accept defeat, violent behavior on the pitch, and those toxic attitudes everyone has been talking about lately. Both the president of FIFA, Gianni Infantino, as well as the president of UEFA, Alexander Seferin, have made strong statements, and Premier League executives are speaking out too. Stick around because this news is going to leave you absolutely speechless. Let us start with the Premier League. We all know it is the league hosting the most Argentine players in Europe, and it was also the one dragged deepest into controversies during this World Cup. Look, I am not just making this up. There is plenty of hard evidence out there. Physical clashes and vicious insults directed by Argentine players toward English footballers, those highly offensive political banners targeting England, along with a total lack of respect shown toward the national anthem and the flag. It really is no coincidence that the Premier League finally decided to step up and make the bold move to push these players out. You are probably wondering what we mean by pushing them out? Well, we mean that quite literally. The English media has reported that several clubs have already made the final decision to completely remove Argentine players from their squads. But as always, there is a catch. If they apologize, the clubs might just overlook what they did. It is as simple as that. Well, maybe it is not that simple for the Argentines, especially when you consider that humility is the one thing they seem to lack. In fact, not a single player has apologized yet, and many of them are already actively searching for a new club to join, just like Cuti Romero, the star Tottenham defender, or actually make that former Tottenham player because he recently went ahead and signed a deal with Atletico Madrid. Many would call this a step up in his career, but financially it is a huge downgrade. He had to accept a massive salary cut just to sign, and this was not even the club he wanted. He actually had other big-name suitors like Inter Milan, Manchester City, or even Barcelona, but those potential deals collapsed because they simply did not want him anymore. You might say Atletico Madrid is still a great team, and that is true, but they basically had to rescue him. Nobody else wanted anything to do with him, and he coincidentally ended up at the one European club hosting the most Argentine players. The manager of Atletico is none other than Cholo Simeone, and his nationality is Argentine. Ever since he took charge of the team, the club has done nothing but sign his fellow countrymen. Seriously, with no exaggeration at all, no matter how bad a player is, if he is Argentine, Cholo Simeone will sign him right now. Now let us talk about the case of Enzo Fernandez. Before the World Cup, literally everyone wanted him, including Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Paris Saint-Germain. But after the tournament, absolutely nobody wants him, and that is clearly due to his terrible attitude. He is easily the most controversial player from the entire World Cup, and off the pitch, he has also shown complete disrespect toward his own club on several different occasions. He openly mocked his French teammates and repeatedly refused to play key matches while demanding a massive pay raise. And that is despite already being one of the absolute highest paid football players in England. Enzo had already told Chelsea that he wanted to leave, and the club's board told him that if any offer came in, they would gladly accept it. The main issue now is that nobody wants to sign him, literally nobody. Real Madrid has publicly announced they have no intention of signing him, stating they do not want players like that in their squad. And this is not just my opinion, every sports outlet is reporting it. Just take a look at these news reports highlighting the situation. So why are we seeing so many reports claiming multiple top clubs are chasing Enzo Fernandez? This is obviously a strategic move by his agent and inner circle, filtering out fake news to boost his damaged public image. It is a common strategy that many professional players use, but it seems this trick is not going to work for Enzo. Not a single official offer has arrived, even though Enzo reportedly assured the board that Manchester City would buy him, and the club simply told him to bring them the offer and they would accept it. Otherwise, they said he will sit on the bench all season or get sent out on loan to a second division team. This is the massive bombshell currently shaking up all of Argentina. Karma has finally caught up with Enzo Fernandez, and there are many more cases just like his. Take Julian Alvarez, who has repeatedly shown disrespect toward Atletico Madrid, the very club that supported him so much. Julian Alvarez desperately wants to move to Barcelona, but the official offer is not coming. Then we also have the case of Dibu Martínez, the starting Aston Villa goalkeeper, who has absolutely not stopped talking about leaving for a giant club. Last year, he practically said his goodbyes to the club, claiming he needed to make the big jump. He claimed Juventus was going to sign him, but absolutely nothing happened. It was all just empty talk. Even so, Aston Villa handled the situation with class and let him keep playing, but this time they have finally had enough and told him to go look for another club too. We could soon see these Argentines playing in the second division. Will it actually happen? We will have to wait and see. Now let us turn our attention to Alexander Ceferin, the president of UEFA, because the serious consequences for Argentina have already arrived. Almost every young footballer spends their life dreaming of playing in the prestigious Champions League, but that dream might just be completely over for the Argentines. And once again, the question comes up, but why exactly? Well, remember when Infantino tried to sell off the broadcasting rights for the World Cup and other tournaments? Those dark rumors of deep-seated FIFA corruption are still spreading everywhere. Infantino was doing absolutely everything in his power to grab total control of global football, but justice was served because nobody, absolutely nobody, backed him up. Well, except for one single nation, and we will reveal exactly who that is shortly, though you probably already know. The main point is that UEFA made a clear warning. If any FIFA decision got backed by other countries, they would instantly respond with a massive boycott. And that boycott meant they would completely ban every player whose nation decided to support Infantino. And can you guess which single country backed Infantino in this incredibly corrupt proposal? Yes, it was Argentina. I am not saying this. It is right there in the official statement from the Argentine Football Association, confirming they support whatever choice Infantino makes. Pretty suspicious, is it not? With so much corruption and all that suspicious refereeing help in their past, of course they backed him. This basically led Ceferin to give them a brutal warning. Ceferin told the Argentines that if they want to embrace FIFA corruption, then they can just wait to play a World Cup every 4 years, because they will not be allowed in the Champions League, the Europa League, or the Conference League. This move would heap even more heavy pressure on European clubs to quickly dump their Argentine players, since they would be completely banned from using them in any major European tournaments. Why do you think top clubs like Chelsea, Real Madrid, or Barcelona are already quietly trying to get rid of their talented Argentine stars? Argentina always boasted about exporting the absolute most South American talent to the European stage, but it seems that golden era might suddenly end, at least until they fully take back their blind support for Infantino. Though I doubt they will ever do that, because it would practically be admitting that all their recent trophies were handed to them by referees. Now, let us talk about FIFA itself. This is a completely different story because everyone knows FIFA and Argentina are working together, and it is also clear that Infantino does not have much time left in power. They are actively investigating him, and every single major outlet is reporting this. There is a massive, ongoing federal investigation by the FBI linking him directly to millions of dollars in illicit funds and bribery. On top of that, 72 prominent members of the European Parliament have launched their own probe as they put together a serious effort to permanently remove Infantino from his high-ranking position. The reality is that after everything that went down during this controversial World Cup involving both angry fans and players, FIFA already has had some heavy punishments lined up. For midfielder Leandro Paredes, reliable sources suggest a severe 9-match suspension is coming due to his violent conduct against the Spanish players, and a very similar punishment could soon hit defender Cuti Romero and others. These are absolutely massive club team losses. The catch is that FIFA claims they are still investigating, but insiders know it is just because Infantino is actively trying to delay the entire process, likely due to some secret agreement with Argentina. Sooner or later, Leandro Paredes and the others must face sanctions, because claiming they are still investigating is a cheap excuse. What exactly are you investigating, Infantino? Everything was shown on live television, so why have rules if you only enforce them whenever you want? Football fans are not stupid, and at this point, absolutely nobody can take FIFA seriously anymore. That is exactly why both the Premier League and UEFA have stepped in to handle things themselves. And what do you think about this? They constantly brag about being superior, claiming they experience football on a completely different level, but now, shut out of Europe. They will lose those massive, lucrative European salaries, and they will not even be able to escape to other competitive leagues like Mexico. Argentine journalists have spent many years mocking Mexican football, calling their local league amateurish and completely incompetent. This is not just me talking. Prominent figures like Flavio Azaro, Toti Passman, and Eduardo Feynman said it openly. And trust me, Mexican fans will never forget that insult. So these players will end up trapped in their own local league, that same competition they love to praise so much, a league filled with crumbling, rundown stadiums and player salaries that are honestly incredibly low compared to the European market. Huge historic clubs in Argentina, like San Lorenzo and Banfield, have already faced embarrassing situations where they simply could not pay their players on time. And of course, there are plenty of hilarious viral jokes about the Argentine League, where the season's best players are literally handed cheap power drills and furturned crowns as trophies. The Argentine League is a total joke. In the end, these are the harsh consequences of their bad choices, and hopefully this specific group of Argentines, because as I said, it is not all of them, will finally reflect and apologize to those they affected, but also to the entire football world, because they truly are incredibly talented players. It is hard to imagine a Champions League without Julian Alvarez or a Serie A without Lautaro Martinez, but as the Premier League stated, players will keep playing, though only those who actually offer a full public apology. It is just a simple apology. What is holding you back, our Argentinian brothers? We honestly love you. Who does not want to watch the best players on earth? Many of you are absolute geniuses. Nobody can deny that fact. You are easily among the very best in the entire world. But football is not just about raw talent. It is about respect, companionship, and above all else, humility. Now, as always, we have a question for our audience, and answering it today is one of our followers, Roger. Hey there, glad to be on. So, looking at the big question of what would actually happen if Argentina completely stopped playing in the English Premier League and European football, what would the fallout be? From my perspective, there would probably be a slight dip in the overall quality of play. But honestly, at the European level, it would not really be anything too massive, would it? I mean, clubs could easily just keep relying on top-tier talent from Brazil, France, Portugal, and England, and the Netherlands. There is genuinely so much competition out there if we look at other nations. But in the end, the most heavily affected would be Argentina. I think it would seriously hurt their players because they would lose access to the elite level of competition they are totally used to facing every week. The current established national squad might not face immediate issues, but the real trouble lies ahead for the upcoming generations. I believe Argentina needs Europe far more than Europe needs them. Hypothetically speaking, of course. You heard the whole story right here first. Yeah,